Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome back to Marvel vs. DC month. Yeah, this time we're doing two different films that probably you guys have not heard of much. Marvel has Punisher Warzone. Yeah, I'm finally doing a Punisher movie, yeah, so that'll keep these people quiet. Versus Batman Gotham by Gaslight. Yes, it's an animated film, but they're both R rated, so that's what connects them. Now, let's get started. Cast of characters. Let's see, Warzone. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. Yeah, in Warzone you have the Punisher, Jigsaw, and a bunch of cops. And no, I never read the comics for Warzone. Yeah, Frank Castle, who's in all the Punisher movies. Billy Jigsaw Rosati, yes, played by Dominic West. Who we'll get to that when we get to writing. Um, you also have Julie Benz, who plays. She plays Julie Benz is Angela Donatelli. There's a lot of Italians in this movie, even though the actors mostly are not, and I'll get to that when I get to writing. You have Dash Mahawk as Detective Martin Soap. You have T.J. Storm as the leader of the Urban Free Flow. You'll have Doug Hutchinson as James Rosati, the Looney Bin Jim, who he's a cartoon character, but we'll get to that, and a bunch of other people. So yeah, that's the characters in the Punisher Warzone. The kind of flat, very boring, and very cartoonish. But like I said, I'll get to that in the animation. Now, Gotham by Gaslight. I didn't love this movie, but I did think it's better in this case because the characters are more grounded. Even though they're animated, they're not cartoonish and over the top. Like the only one is the villain because it's the story bases on the 19th century version of Bruce Wayne making his debut as Batman against Jack the Ripper, who, while at least Jack the Ripper in this movie is much more, grounded because it's more darker and it's more serious, while the other one is a cartoon, like a really bad cartoon. So in this case, DC wins for the cast of characters because I think the characters are just better written and they flow more because in DC you have Selena Kyle. She's just Selena Kyle. She's not in her Catwoman outfit. And also you have who else? You have uh, Alfred because he's in almost every single Batman movie. You have Chris Cox as Father Callahan, John DiMaggio as Police Chief Bullock, and Gray Griffin as Sister Leslie Tompkins, and Harvey Dent. Yeah, there's a lot. The characters are more grounded, like in Batman Gotham by Gaslight. They're not too over the top. Now the writing, yeah. Oh my God, the Punisher Warzone. The writing is horrible. Like if you thought Batman and Robin was cartoonish, this movie is. It's got an inconsistent tone. Like sometimes it's really dark where Frank Castle kills somebody, and then another time where after Jigsaw gets his face cut up, you would think that that's really messed up, right? But then he starts acting like the Joker. He's like having this weird laugh and has this really weird New York accent. I don't know what the hell kind of direction Dominic West was taking, but he did not sound American at all. He sounds like a cartoon character. He's like, "Take it off already," and I'm like, it's a horrible accent. You really couldn't cast like Michael Rappaport or something like that. You have to get this. Jigsaw's not the Joker, guys. I'm sorry. In Gotham by Gaslight, the writing is way more fluid. It's not cartoonish. Even though it is a cartoon, it's dead serious. I don't think there's not one joke in the movie. Here, it's inconsistent in Punisher Warzone. There's just too much comedy where it doesn't fit in the war. And Punisher is not a comedic character. He doesn't crack jokes and one-liners. He's way more serious. And both movies, just the writing is just awful. If you've seen this movie, Punisher Warzone, not the 2004 movie, they write Frank Castle like he's emotionless. Like for Ray Stevenson's an awful Frank Castle. He was better in the Thor movies as was it Vilstag or whatever. He's much better there because he's better written. Here, he's written like a robot, and he has no emotion whatsoever. And this movie bombed, which it deserved. At least Gotham by Gaslight was direct to video. Yeah, this movie cost 35 million and made 10 million, and yet Gotham by Gaslight was an animated project, probably cost a third of that, and it was way better received by critics and audiences. Yeah, this movie's a cartoon. Like See, it says Warzone recalls an excessively violent dialogue challenge actioneer of the 1980s and coincidentally feels 2 decades out of date. Yeah, it feels like Batman 89, except it's R rated, and yet the R rating doesn't help its comedic tone. That's what hurt Birds of Prey last year. The inconsistent tone. Sometimes it's really dark and somebody's getting their face cut up, and then other times Harley Quinn is acting like a fool and vomiting and freaking acting stupid. Yeah, and drinking. Yeah, that's not fun, guys. Have a tone and stick to it. Gotham by Gaslight is dead serious. There's no humor. It's taken seriously. Warzone is a cartoon. Yeah, it's violent, but it's way too cartoonish for me, for my taste. Looney Bin Jim seeing a bunch of mirrors and then cracking it. It's Batman and Robin. It's terrible. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. But yeah, again, DC wins that one. The writing is way better because while I didn't love Gotham by Gaslight, I still think it's more. It's taken seriously and it doesn't lose its tone. Next, the action. Yeah. Well, let me see. Gotham by Gaslight doesn't have too much action because it's a period piece. This is the only time Marvel wins this one because there's a lot of R-rated action in the movie, but and it's well shot. Who directed this movie? Uh, Lexi Alexander. It's a woman. I'm not gonna say too much because I don't want to judge. Uh, she shot the action scenes fine. She didn't shake the camera too much. She also directed Pitch Perfect, the first one, not the sequels. She also did directed Lifted, which I never heard of Lifted. Oh, that's some war drama. No, I don't want to know about that. But yeah, she did a good job filming the shots of Frank Castle shooting and punching and things like that. Even though it's cartoonish and it's stupid, I hate the writing in the movie. The action is fluid. It's just it could have been better if it was a better consistent tone and it was taken seriously and not like cracking a bunch of jokes. I know it's Marvel, but sometimes the sense of humor doesn't work. In a character like the Punisher or Venom, cracking jokes doesn't work. It feels really forced. But in Gotham by Gaslight, like I said, the action don't really remember it too much. I do remember Batman scenes and some of the blood where Jack the Ripper. It's a little bit more mean spirited because Jack the Ripper's killing women, and I'm like, I don't know if this is a political statement or what, but I get it. Okay, he's killing women. That's his thing. But this time, Punisher Warzone only wins for the action. Next, special effects and visuals. DC definitely because I like the animation. It flows well. The colors are really dark and brooding, but it fits the time zone. In Warzone, they have pretty colors like it's Batman and Robin, and I'm like, again, I don't like the visual style of it. Like I don't like the look of it. Uh, it's just unpleasant. In Gotham by Gaslight, it is very dark, but the visuals because there's no special effects. It's a cartoon they look pretty. It's really well made. It's a hand drawn, animation that really DC knows how to do good visuals, guys. Let's face it. Even if the animated movie's not the best, their animation and their art style works. With Warzone, I don't like the way the film looks. I don't like the special effects. The CG looks awful. It looks like a cartoon. The some of the CGI blood in it, and yeah, it looks comedic and. I don't know. For a $35 million budget, it could have done better. Now, which one is better? Entertainment value. What do you think, guys? Warzone or DC's Batman Gotham by Gaslight? DC, all the way, because with Warzone, I don't remember it. It's very forgettable. Even though I remember some of the action, the inconsistent tone of the jokes feel really forced. The villain sucks. He's a cartoon character. It's an unpleasant looking film. There's no joy in it. Even though they're cracking jokes, it doesn't fit. So you don't feel that Marvel zinger, like when you see an Avengers movie or Guardians or something like that. This is why this flopped and is not part of the MCU. They never mentioned this movie again. It's totally forgettable. The writing, yeah, it took 3 people to write this movie. So you just wrote Batman, except you put the Punisher in there instead of Batman, and you put instead of the Joker, you got this dumbass with a white suit and a messed up face. Yeah, one of the writers. Let me see what he wrote. Um, I got to see because this is ridiculous. Like this movie could have been really awesome, and the fact that they screwed it up. I'm not crazy about Gotham by Gaslight. I saw it once, and I don't have to see it again. But it's the better film because, like I said, I was more entertained. It was shorter. It was like an hour and 20 minutes. It wasn't like this one was an hour and 43 minutes. It drags ass Warzone. And like I said, I had more fun with it. The villain is more threatening. He's not a cartoon character. This person wrote, not produced. For Warzone, the writers did mostly TV, and it could tell they did Prison Break, Lie to Me, Breakout Kings, The Guardian. Yeah, they mostly done TV, and it doesn't help. A TV script doesn't work for a big budget movie. Ask Jeff Johns when he did Wonder Woman '84. What works in a television show for 30 minutes or 45 minutes doesn't work in a 2 hour movie. This writer did better because he did Iron Man, and well, he did the first Iron Man, but that was like a fluke. The rest of it, he did Warzone, Transformers: The Last Night, ouch, and Men in Black International. So yeah, the writing was on the wall, guys. Gotham by Gaslight wins easily, without question. Batman is the better case here. I like the Punisher, but I prefer the 2004 Thomas Jane movie and the one from the 80s because at least that one was not a cartoon. This is a R-rated, hard R rating with a lot of violence, yet the villains act like cartoon characters. And that's not what I signed up for. Gotham by Gaslight is a cartoon, but it's taken seriously. And DC knows how to make a cartoon feel fresh, even if it's not my thing, the period piece, Batman in the ancient times, in the 19th century, it still worked. The story was still better. And while it was flawed, it still felt more epic. And so DC wins this one. So that's my Marvel versus DC today. Punisher Warzone loses to Gotham by Gaslight. Even though it's a cartoon, it's the better film. Shorter, more to the point, and while it's dark, it knows what it is. Warzone is a freaking cartoon, and if you don't think it's a cartoon, go watch it. I dare you. The movie's awful. Like it's one of the worst Marvel movies that came out 10 years before Venom. And yet, if Venom was R, it probably would have been forgiven a lot more. But this time, Gotham by Gaslight wins by default because it's just better. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.